Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the board, staff. Let the record show that today is November the 18th. The time is 7 p.m. and we will now call this Amherst County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Adams. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The agenda is approved. We will now move on to the invocation Pledge of Allegiance. If you've got a hat on your head, please remove it. I will lead us in the invocation, and Mr. Martin will lead us in the pledge. Bow your heads. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to gather this evening. Thank you for allowing us to work for the good of the people in a country of democracy. Let everything that's done here by the people that have been elected by the citizens of Amherst be done with a pure heart. Let them do what's best for the citizens of Amherst County. Lord, we ask that you pray over and keep safe our military, our first responders, our teachers, and all of those lives who touch other lives for good. And in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Yes, ma'am.
We will now move on to citizen comments. There are a lot of people signed up. If you're here to speak for one of the public hearings, this is not the time. Wait until we announce that, and then you can speak for that. If you're here for some other purpose to make your opinions known, please come forward. I'm going to start with the list here. You have 3 minutes. Mr. Bryant will be keeping time, and he will alert you, and we will cut you off at 3 minutes. Give everybody a chance to speak. All right. Mr. Freshour.
Good evening.
Good evening.
More than a year ago, you allowed a special exception permit for a party venue for the Fishers in the middle of a residential neighborhood. What we and all my neighbors have experienced is nothing but aggravation and a decay in our quality of life in Amherst County. We tried to tell you through numerous speeches how this would disrupt our lives. Over 80% of the neighbors were in protest of this, and yet you bought into the false pretenses of the Fishers and were swayed by their false promises of what they would provide. It's been shown time and time again that there's a common theme of the Fishers, not following the rules, ordinances, and statutes of the Board of Visitors, nor Amherst County. The Fishers started their wedding venue and built structures without proper permits, only to apologize when confronted by the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors. They knew exactly what they were doing. They made false promises, saying they were going to use a small Bluetooth speaker, not using DJs, keeping the noise levels down, and keeping their customers off our private Kimberly Road. None of these things have happened. We are continually bombarded with loud, booming music throughout the year, disrupting our quiet evenings we have known for years. I have recorded extremely loud music. Just on 3 occasions, I recorded it on May 24th with a DJ screaming across the whole neighborhood with a loudspeaker, not a Bluetooth speaker. October 3rd, October 18th. October 18th, I have recordings at 10:48 at night, at 10:53, which are also violations of the special exception use permit, no loud music after 10 p.m. Ironically, on those days, we see vehicles coming down our private road that are not vehicles of our residents. My neighbor told me on one occasion, a lady pulled in his driveway and asked him where Three Oaks Manor was, not so much for the promises that they would provide directions, and no one would be traveling down our private road, that private road that we pay for out of our own money. The disregard of the Fishers to follow Amherst County ordinances, special permits, doesn't stop at party venues. Amherst County ordinance leash law. The Fishers allow their dog to run loose in our neighborhood on Kimberly Road several times. Recently, my wife was walking our dogs with our leashes on down Kimberly and Phyllis Lee, and Alexis Fisher's dog came charging at them, and my wife said, "Alexis, your dog's supposed to be on a leash." And she screamed at my wife. All she said was, "Your dog needs to be on a leash." And she started screaming at my wife saying, "Shut up, shut up." And she said, "Don't tell me to shut up. I'm telling you, you need to have a leash on your dog." And my wife turned around and just left. You know, on that night we had the vote, Claudia Tucker stated on the night of that vote that if the Fishers violated any of these ordinances or statutes for the special permit, that it could be revoked. I'm asking for the board to present a resolution to revoke the special exception permit of the Fishers Party venue as it currently stands. Thank you for your consideration.
You hit that right at 3 minutes, thank you. Moving on, we've got Mr. Walt Perlman. Okay, all right. That's Joanne Palerno,
Panzarino.
sorry,
Panzarino.
Pazzarino. Excuse me for butchering your name.
That's all right. Yes, I am Joanna Panzarino, and I reside at 222 Kimberly Road with my sister. I appear in front of you this evening to express the same concerns that have been presented to you previously regarding the event venue, Three Oaks Manor, operating in a rural subdivision. As your records show, it has been stressed that this venue, in more ways than one, has been disruptive to the peaceful, serene lifestyle that some of us for 70-plus years grew up with, and some who have chosen to move there because of the lifestyle. I am not opposed to anyone owning, operating a small business in our neighborhood. Such a business has existed there for years, but to no ill effect of our lifestyle. With Three Oaks Manor, the noise factor alone has proven to be a disruption. Mrs. Fisher herself said there would be no PA system, only a Bluetooth speaker. She has not followed her own ground rules. An example of what I'm referring to, in May of this year, while sitting in my home with all windows and doors closed, I could hear clearly over my TV the bass of a PA system coming from the venue. In the following evening, it was the same scenario. It was so intrusive, I decided to make a formal complaint to the authorities. The officer who returned the call said the only thing he could do would be a drive-by. What I heard him saying was basically, there's nothing that we can do because there are no guidelines or rules in place to protect those affected. The above is just one of the many intrusions our neighborhood has encountered since spring of '24. Mrs. Fisher herself stated that the music would be off by 9 p.m. There would be no bright lights. There would be adequate signage directing traffic, etc., none of which she said she would do has she done. I also have concerns for our health and safety of our water system. For the 5 neighbors on Kimberly Road, I'm not sure of the exact distance of the property line, of the Fisher's property line to our well system, but I am concerned if there is any seepage, that it could be a health issue. The traffic along Kimberly Road, even with the numerous private road signs that we have posted, has not changed. And there's been no signage along the road, which Mrs. Fisher said she would see that adequate signage was placed along Cedar Gate Road, but I've not seen any. And with all that said, I would just like to plead with the board
Your time is up.
to consider revoking the permit for Three Oaks Manor.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Next, we have Robert Richards.
Evening. After receiving my car taxes, I noticed that there was a fee on there for $25 for each vehicle we had, and looking in curiosity, I checked with the Commissioner of Revenue and asked her what it was for. She didn't really know what it was for, couldn't answer my questions, but said she would get back with me in a month or so. I was referred to the county administrator, which I went down and had a very nice talk with him. And he really couldn't help me a whole lot with exactly what this $25 fee's for, how long it's been in place, or how long it's been addendum to it. A month ago, I sent all of you a letter. You should have it by now. It should have been in your packet last month, because I dropped it off at the administrator's office. They assured me you would all get it. I also dropped it off at the Commissioner of Revenue's office and make sure she got it. So far, I have not had a response, not even from my own supervisor. Hasn't called me, hasn't wrote me a letter or nothing. I would really like to know what this $25 fee's for, how long it's been in place, how many times it's been changed, and a little bit more specific. The letter outlines it. You all have a copy of it. Thank you.
Mr. Richards, I got to tell you, if you sent it to me, and I'm sure that you did, I have lost it or misplaced it. I don't have it, but I will find it. And you're asking a good question. We will get you an answer.
Yeah, there's seven
Mr. Bryant?
questions. There's 7 specific questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Next, we have Whitney Gregory.
District 3, Whitney Gregory, 306 Phyllis Lee. First, I'd like to say thank you to the Manellison Volunteer Fire Department and the Amherst Fire Department for responding to the fire in our neighborhood multiple times over the last 2 weeks. I appreciate the service of each individual to control the fire and to protect neighboring properties, including ours, during the recent high winds and increased fire danger. Thank you. We appreciate your service. Next, I'd like to express deep gratitude for our District 3 Rep. Chris Adams for recognizing that Special Exception 2024-154 for Three Oaks Manor has met the criteria for revocation. Thank you for seeing the truth of what our neighborhood has endured and for acknowledging that the place we once called peaceful and safe has been fundamentally changed since this permit was approved. Your compassion has not gone unnoticed. You were lied to by the applicant on May 21st, 2024, in a way that left our community to shoulder consequences we never should have faced. An unrestrained party venue operating at the heart of our neighborhood and altering our daily lives. But now it's time to correct it, and we need your collective leadership to do it. Taking action here isn't just about correcting a past wrong. It's about protecting the families who live here and restoring the trust, safety, and stability we all deserve. Adding proper enforceable conditions won't only safeguard our neighborhood, it will allow the applicant to operate responsibly and successfully. Everyone can win with a fair and reasonable protection in place for our neighborhood. We share, not out of anger, but out of love. Love for our neighbors, love for our families, and love for the community we've worked so hard to build and maintain. Neighbors who oppose the party venue have been targeted by the applicant with threats, verbal attacks, and even malicious prosecution. Our safety and welfare have been materially damaged by the rise in public safety calls and ongoing noise violations. Meanwhile, social media tries to rewrite the story as if none of it happened. But we know better. We lived it, we documented it, because we were placed in the unimaginable position of policing this approval that was based on deceptive information. June 17th, we provided evidence, PA systems blasting, loud DJs, and threatening phone calls. If you need to hear them again, please reach out. Every event takes away our evenings, our rest, and our peace of mind. So we're asking, genuinely, respectfully, and urgently, for you to present a motion to revoke this permit and begin the process of restoring the peace in our community. These last 2 years have taken a toll on our families, and we cannot endure another year. Without meaningful safeguards, the harm will continue, and warnings or unenforceable promises will solve nothing. Please add the conditions that will bring this neighborhood back to safety, harmony, and balance. We're taxpayers, volunteers, contributors, and citizens of this great county, and we deeply care about where we live. This situation can be fixed, but we need your action, your voice, and your commitment to make this first step. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gregory. Next, we have Jacqueline Campbell. Ms. Campbell, just give us your district, where you live. You don't.
On Whitehead
Okay.
Drive. I'm here to speak about the revocation of the permit for the Fishers wedding venue as well, but I'm coming from a different perspective. I am not a neighbor. I actually have had business dealings with the Fishers. And in the long run, over the last 11 months, which I consider a nightmarish experience, I've had to go to court against them. And the judge found Mr. Fisher and his company to be in breach of contract and ordered him to pay us back the money that we had spent. He has not done that. I waited the requisite amount of time for him to decide whether or not he wanted to appeal, and when he didn't, I sent a letter asking him to contact me within 30 days so that we could discuss payment. I've never heard from him. And each time I have had to send him a letter, I send it certified and have paid extra so that he has to sign a receipt for it, and it's supposed to be delivered back to me. He has refused to do that all 3 times. I've also made a complaint or a grievance with DPOR, the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation. And on October 7th, they found him in violation of 2 counts of the Contractors Code for Virginia. And he was ordered to pay $1,600 in fines and to take a remedial education course. So now I am having to decide where I go from here. Do I continue to get legal representation trying to get my money back from him? All the while, I can see on his Facebook pages and on hers where they have taken expensive trips. His business is doing so well that he is trying to hire a new employee, yet he doesn't want to reimburse me the money that the judge ordered him to pay. When I've spoken with him, he comes across as being very arrogant and cocky, and to be honest with you, I don't think he's on very good terms with the truth. I guess what I'm saying here is that I would question the viability of any business venture that these Fishers might try to organize. I don't want anyone else to have to go through what I've had to go through. I moved to Amherst 2 years ago after teaching for 36 years, and this was supposed to be my dream home, and instead it's been a nightmare, and I just don't want anyone else to have to experience what I've gone through. So thank you for letting me vent and to share my experience with you, and I hope that you will weigh what I've said when you decide what to do about their permit. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. John Kempt?
That's regarding one of the public hearing items.
Okay, thank you. Jim Vasquez? What district are you in, Mr. Vasquez?
We're in District 3.
So you guys probably already know what we're here to talk about, probably have it memorized as well as I do. I rise today to once again request that this board revoke the special exception erroneously granted to Alexis Fisher in Three Oaks Manor. In accordance with the county code, any member may at any time make any motion, and a motion to revoke is that any motion. It is incumbent upon you, the members of this board, individually and severally, to acknowledge that a procedural error was made and move this board to action. When the applicant omitted the signature of the co-owner of Three Oaks Manor, she left you a loophole. There's no need to concern yourselves with complicated parliamentary maneuvers. All owners are required to sign, and the application is incomplete without that signature. We've all witnessed and experienced your courage when you denied other special exceptions that were problematic. Now is the time to show that courage again. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Tammy Vasquez? District 3 as well.
District 3, thank you. Good evening, Chair and members of the board. My name is Tammy Carwell Vasquez. I reside at 125 Phyllis Lee Drive, and I'm here tonight to urge you once again to begin the process of revoking the special exception for Three Oaks Manor located at 219 Phyllis Lee Drive. Since the special exception was approved, our community, as you've heard, has faced impacts far and beyond what was anticipated, including a significant increase in public safety calls related to this business and the owner. This clearly indicates that the venue is not compatible with our residential area and is straining county resources. We must endure persistent noise, late-night disturbances, commercial traffic, and constant activity that disrupts the character of our neighborhood. The conditions originally set for the special exception have not protected neighboring properties and have proven unenforceable. Your ordinance allows for revocation when adverse impacts occur or when a use is not consistent with its approval. That threshold has been met. Tonight, I respectfully ask you to initiate the revocation process. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Vasquez. John Lettingham.
I hand these out.
Mr. Lettingham, are you District 3?
District 3, yes, ma'am. What you're getting right there is a list of about 35 people that live in the general vicinity of Alexis and her venue. And they are definitely not for this. I guess I'm representing these people. They ask me questions. I don't know what to tell them. A lot's already been said, so I can encapsulate this a little bit. A couple of years ago, Ms. Fisher was addressing y'all trying to get this permit, and she did so while parading her child around on her chest, spouting off verses from the Bible, promising to do this, promising to do that. And I'm sure when the supervisors and the planning commission went by to visit her and see their operation, she said the same thing. She seems to be quite deceitful. She seems to make a lot about lying to people. So I'll get back to my talking here a little bit. I talked to Jeremy not too long ago, and he said that you felt your hands were tied by the lawsuit that we had against the supervisors for spot zoning this, and that was a problem because you couldn't react with a court case. So we talked it over and we dropped the court case. Now it's firmly in the supervisor's hands. There's been a lot going on. I hope y'all have been familiar with most of it. She's had problems, or the family, with promises to people for doing work, didn't do it. She's had people ask for their money back for wedding venue differentiations and wouldn't do it. They had to take the steps to go on and try to have the wedding anyway. It's been a nightmare of things going on that y'all can prevent. During that meeting when you were giving her the permission to do this, at the very end of it, Ms. Tucker said, we'll give you a little time to do this, and we have the right to jerk that ordinance back. Mr. Adams has been helpful on our side. I understand there's another supervisor also that believes this should be revoked, but it takes 3 to do it, I understand. I hope someone else can step up, then we can get this settled, over and done with as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kim Wood?
I'd like to speak at the end, please.
Okay. Christy Eubank? Is there anyone else here wishing to speak that did not sign up? Anyone else wishing to speak? Hearing none, we will now close this first session of citizen comment and move on to public hearing. Mr. Creasy, please introduce Resolution 2025.
Madam Chair, members of the board, good to see you all tonight. Resolution 2025-14-R, road abandonment of Route 9017 is before you tonight. This is pursuant to Virginia State Code 33.2-909, in which we have received a written request from the property owners at 229 Dancing Creek Road, former Pleasant View Elementary School, to abandon State Route 9017, which would be the bus loop in front of the school. There is a diagram of this in your packet, as well as a handout that VDOT was able to provide last minute for you all. This request comes to you from the property owners. If you recall, they went through the special exception process, maybe 8 months ago for a wedding venue and some other, like a multi-purpose type venue where they could rent out the gym, have Airbnbs, and a bunch of other things that you all approved. They are going through the minor site plan process right now. They have some addition out there that they would like to do, and through that, VDOT is required to sign the plan. After speaking with the applicant, they've decided to move forward with this request to ask you all as a board to adopt this resolution. It would then go down to Richmond for VDOT state headquarters to make a final determination if this bus loop could be removed from the state route system. Unfortunately, the Fishers were unable to be here tonight as they are out of town, but they are, of course, made aware of this request and, of course, initiated the request as well. The resolution is before you. Staff is not planning to read through the resolution, but if you have any questions for staff, please let me know.
Thank you, Mr. Creasy. Any questions, board?
Madam Chair, I guess, obviously going through grade school, I never realized that was a state highway or state-maintained access in front of Pleasant View School. I guess when I reviewed this last evening, there's really no downsides for us to relinquish this, correct?
Yes, sir.
I guess my only other question, Mr. Creasy, do we have any more of these as I think through the school systems in the county? And I guess Temperance would be the next one that would come to mind. Are we faced with this in any other school premises now that the county owns?
Not that I'm aware of. There is, I believe it's state statute that requires schools to front on state-maintained roads and have access directly to a state road. So that's why this bus loop and many other bus loops are included into the state system. So for instance, the Amherst County High School,
Right.
Lancer Lane is a state-maintained road, and that's how you access, as well as Main Street. So that's why they're included into the system. As far as I'm aware, we don't have any other properties that were former schools that need any abandonment at this time.
Nothing else, Madam Chair.
Any further questions for Mr. Creasy? Thank you, Mr. Creasy.
Thank you.
All right, we will now open up the public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak in favor of this resolution? In favor? Hearing none, is there anyone who is opposed and would like to speak? Seeing and hearing none, we will now close the public hearing on Resolution 2025. Board members, what's your pleasure?
Madam Chair, I'm trying to find the proposed motion, but I'm not sure if I can ad lib here, but I would make the motion that we, thank you, Mr. Wade. I move that the board adopt Resolution 2025-14-R as presented.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Adams. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Adams. Mr. Creasy, next before us, we have a special exception request from Mr. James and Adrian Carter.
Yes, Madam Chair, Board, as you just mentioned, this is a special exception request for a short-term tourist rental of a dwelling at 2390 Para Road, further identified as tax map number 74-A-4. The property owner is Blue Ridge Gateway LLC. That is the same as the petitioner, and that documentation can be found within your packet. The future land use map recommends agriculture limited for the property. Staff is not planning to go over what that entails, but it's mainly for rural qualities and to maintain those and encourage farming in these areas. We do have a land use goal that talks about short-term tourist rentals, in which you all as a board should approve them in appropriate locations in Amherst County. As mentioned already, the property is zoned A1 agricultural residential. Code section 702.03.11 indicates short-term tourist rentals that are either not served by a state-maintained road or within 500 feet of another dwelling as a special exception. So that is why this petition is before you tonight. The surrounding area in general has the same characteristics as the subject parcel. 4 single-family dwellings are within 1,000 linear feet. 2401 Para Road, which is directly across from the petitioner's request, is also owned by the Carters, and this is their primary residence. The subject parcel is also adjoined by the George Washington National Forest to the north, which is zoned P1 public lands. The rest of the parcels along Para Road are zoned A1 agriculture residential. I'll flip over to the map so you got a better understanding of what I just mentioned. So as you can see, here's the subject parcel, zone A1. Here's the George Washington National Forest, of course owned by the United States, and everything else along Para Road is going to be zoned A1. And then if I take off the zoning layer, you can see the houses within 500 feet of the subject parcel. This was sent to Virginia Department of Transportation, in which they had no comments for the petition. This was also sent to the county's fire marshal, in which they had no issues for the petition as well. The impact would allow a short-term tourist rental of a dwelling. The total number of bedrooms that would be allowed to be rented is 3, and traffic should be similar to that of a single-family dwelling. The Planning Commission recommended approval of this request with 5 conditions. These conditions before you are boilerplate in nature and are typical of other short-term tourist rentals that have come before you, and those can be found within your item summary. At this time, do you have any questions for staff?
Board? Is the petitioner here, Mr. Creasy?
Yes, Mr. Carter is here.
All right, Mr. Carter, would you like to speak before we open up the public hearing?
Kind of an eye-opener for me tonight. I feel for these people that are having problems with the Kimberly Road place. We see this house right through our picture window, and besides an investment, we bought it to keep the peace in the neighborhood. And we figured as an Airbnb, if someone causes problems, we can get them out of there easier. There's not going to be any parties, no music of any kind or any noise or disturbances. My neighbors will all have my phone number, and if there's any problem, I'll take care of it immediately. So, any questions? Or?
Questions, board members? No, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carr.
All right, we're now going to open up the public hearing. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak in favor of this? Is there anyone who is opposed and would like to speak opposed? Seeing and hearing none, we will now close the public hearing. Board members, any questions? What are your thoughts?
Madam Chair, where did Mr. Creasy go? When the Planning Commission had their meeting on this, were there any other oppositions that were presented to Planning Commission meeting? Yes, sir. Okay, all right, thank you very much.
What's your pleasure?
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion to approve special exception 2025-510.
The motion on the floor by Mr. Adams. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Special exception 2025-510. Thank you, Mr. Adams. Mr. Creasy, next.
Yes, Madam Chair, Board, this is another special exception for short-term tourist rental of a dwelling in your A1 agricultural residential district. This is located at 149 Indigo Ridge and is further identified as tax map number 92-7-6. The property owner is the same as the petition. Just like your previous case, the future land use map recommends agriculture limited for the property, which is encouraged to encourage farming and maintain the rural qualities of this area in the county. The same land use goal is mentioned in the staff report as well, in which you all as a board should promote the expansion of short-term tourist rentals in appropriate locations in Amherst County. As I already mentioned, the parcel is zoned A1 agriculture residential. That code section that I mentioned in the previous case, in which if you are not either served by a state-maintained road or within 500 feet of another dwelling, it is a special exception. In this instance, they are further than 500 feet from a dwelling, I think. No, they're not. I apologize. But they're also on a private road, so that is why this petition comes before you tonight. The surrounding area in general has the same characteristics. All the adjoining parcels are zoned A1 agricultural residential. Indigo Ridge, which is a private road, is off of Apple Grove Road, which is also privately maintained. A majority of the lots that front along these two private roads are on a mountainside. Many of the lots are vacant. However, there are approximately 4 single-family dwellings, including the petitioner's parcel along the 2 private roads. The parcel is at roughly 11.59 acres large, and it contains a single-family dwelling. I'll now flip over to the map so you got a better understanding of the zoning. So, of course, as you can see, everything is zoned A1 here. That is the green, and then I'll also pull up our contour map for you all. So, as you can see, we've got some steep slopes through here, so being on the side of a mountainside, and I'll go over public safeties and how they have reviewed this parcel as well. It was sent to VDOT for review. Since it being on a private road, VDOT had no comments for this petition. And we have sent this to the county's fire marshal, in which we have made a few trips up there to review this with the applicant. There's a letter before you from the fire marshal indicating 2 requirements that need to be met. One is road surfacing, 6-inch crushed and compacted aggregate. An alternate option is to pave or asphalt the surface treatment, chip and seal the road. And then the second requirement that needs to happen is approved dead-end fire apparatus to ensure that there are turnaround movements for a fire truck/ambulance on the property. What staff has done in order to meet these requirements, if you all board choose to approve this, is to indicate that Amherst County Fire and EMS, the owner shall meet all requirements set forth by the Fire Marshal of Amherst County and Fire and EMS as it do with access to the property prior to issuance of the zoning permit. So we would need to receive approval from the county's Fire Marshal before this zoning permit for a short-term tourist rental can be issued. The other condition that is added to this that is not boilerplate in nature is a proffered condition from the applicant, in which he has indicated the property shall not be used as a short-term tourist rental between November 1st and March 31st of every year. So during our winter season, he has proffered out that condition that it cannot be used as a short-term tourist rental. Staff has added this as a condition, and in which the Planning Commission also approved. Just like the other one, the traffic would be similar to a single-family dwelling in nature. VDOT has no requirements since it does not front on a state-maintained road, and staff's only concern is fire access, in which the applicant has been working with the county's fire marshal office to meet those requirements. These conditions can be found within your item summary. There are 2 conditions that have changed from the staff report. The staff report is, of course, from the Planning Division to the Planning Commission, so those updated conditions can be found in your item summary and not the staff report. And at this time, do you have any questions for staff?
Board members?
Madam Chair. So, Mr. Creasy, how old is this structure?
14 years.
14 years.
Yes, sir.
So we, the county, allowed it to be built as a single-family dwelling with an access road, and now because they want to use it as a short-term rental, we're saying, no, you've got to go in and do whatever, 6 inches of crush and run or whatever. Do we do that for any other single-family homes now?
Yes, we do.
All right, I got the county administrator shaking his head no, and
Well-
you're saying yes, so.
So maybe not for that, but there is a house, 122 Indigo Ridge, that came before our office, and they could either do upgrades to the road, or they could put in a sprinkler system in order to meet fire access. So they were required to put in a sprinkler system since they did not want to upgrade that road. Fire access really became a thing for community development to enforce, and in contrast with public safety a few years ago when there was an Airbnb brought before you all, in which you had to go across a creek. Since then, community development has enforced this requirement not only on special exceptions, but as well as single-family dwellings being built with no short-term tourist rental being part of it.
So, I'm sorry, so single-family homes that get built today, they have to meet standards or not?
Yes, they have to meet fire access standards or put in a sprinkler system like the one above this property.
Okay, so you're bringing this up to what the current standard would be for any other single-family home?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Further questions, board?
So, Madam Chair, so I got a few questions, and this is one I was thinking about in the beginning. I got them confused, but irregardless. So, first, going back to what Mr. Martin brought up, that was a question I have is, the dynamics change when any structure is come before us for short-term use, right? Where funds are collected to be able to stay there, right? To meet the safety requirements for the folks staying there, correct?
Correct.
So they had the option, if my understanding is correct, to either correct the roadway for emergency vehicle access or put the sprinkler system in.
Correct. We gave that option to the petitioner for this request as well.
Okay. So my next question is the points of access. Apple Grove Road, I'm familiar with the general area. I'm just not familiar with Apple Grove and Indigo. Are Apple Grove and Indigo both private roads?
Correct. That is
Okay.
correct.
Who maintains those roads?
I would have to do the deed research. I would assume it'd be borne upon the property owners. I don't believe there is a property owners association out there.
Maybe Mr. Perlman can help us with that.
Here, Mr. Morton, and up until this year, he and I.
Sir, come forward. so
Come
we
on
can
up here,
hear
Mr.
you.
Perlman,
Thank you.
please. What do you say?
Hello, I'm Walt Perlman. Yes, we built the house in started in 2010, finished in 2011. And Mr. Morton built his house in 2019, 17. And so he and I were basically two of the major contributors, my money, his tractor. And then what I've done in the last 3 months, I've spent close to $14,000. I've chipped at the top where Jarrett was really concerned about, and he was up there today and he liked what we did.
Okay.
He was very complimentary. So below that, which I was also concerned with, and it's a stretch of about 200 feet, I put too much gravel down. So I called Larry Branham. I had Robert up the year before, and poor Robert's gone. But Larry came up twice, and he's got that thing packed down. It is really good, and I know Jared was very impressed with that today. And so we'll continue to do that from the standpoint of this VRBO. I am 74 years old. I have done this on my own for 13 years, and I would like to keep it in the family. And I'm going to take this money that we make to mow my yard, to paint my house, and maintain my road. And, you know, my daughter, Anna, is here. She has 29 VRBOs. And I came over with her to Slap Road about 2 months ago to listen to her give a presentation on VRBO. And she blew me away because she talked about that we will demand four-wheel drive. We will only demand so many automobiles, and if you're allowed, you're off that mountain. And I can tell you some funny stories about her and some of these VRBOs where people have been kicked out because the music was too loud. It was a household of women getting away from their husbands. But, you know, we have an experienced manager running our property who's got a vested interest in it as well. So, and the Mortons are with us, and the new neighbor that he mentioned about the other road, they're headed on a train somewhere up to New York. They work out of town. He would have been here too. We've had one person against it. He's not a homeowner. He's a lot owner, and he's from out of town. And I am up Indigo, and you have to cross Apple Grove to get to him. And that's 1,000 feet vertically down from me. John and Ruth Ann are within 500 feet as a crow flies. If you want to go to their house, it's going to take you about 6 minutes. But we're very conscientious about the condition of the house, who's going to rent there. One of the things I looked at that I'm very pleased to see, there's an equestrian season at Sweetbriar. We don't have to board horses. They've got the boarding down there. But those people are 4.3 miles from us. We have weekends at Liberty. We're not doing this year, but a couple from our church in Richmond has taken our house free for a Liberty graduation, but we will have it for other things as well, and we will have stipulations on it. So I hope I answered your question.
It was, and that was my only question, Madam Chair and Mr. Creasy, is if we're going to approve a short-term rental on a private road, I want to make sure we're not infringing on other property owners
Right.
that may help maintain this road.
Yes.
That we may have some angry people
Right.
coming in. So that's what I want to make sure that we weren't
I
going to
see
be
what you're
dealing with.
saying. I'm hoping that the road will be in much better shape in a year than it is now. And I'm talking about the joint road. My road is already. If you'd like to see pictures.
And Mr. Perlman, the only other question I have is, I don't want to speculate, what was the reason you guys blocked there the 6-month period of time?
It was 5.
5, excuse me. I'm not good at math.
Hunting season
Okay, and I was safe to speculate.
and
So,
the weather.
okay, fair enough.
I don't need any liability like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, thank you.
Nothing else, Madam Chair.
Ready. Very pretty place. All right, we will now open up the public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak in favor of? Is there anyone here that is wishing to speak against? Yes, sir? Come forward and give us your name. And I'm assuming you live near the location.
I'm John Kempf. Well, you can't, yeah, you can kind of see some of it. It's the kind of triangular shape there. You see
Is it the horizontal triangle?
one pointing down, has kind of a downward arrow.
Mr. Creasy, come here, please. Thank you.
Yes, that one, yes.
Okay,
So
that's where you live.
that is my property, ma'am. I am the property owner that he mentioned is an out-of-towner, as he said. So I am an out-of-towner, and I think that actually means a bit more because the reason I purchased the property in Amherst County is because Amherst County, in my view, when I came here and visited it, is pretty much what's left of Virginia that I grew up in. I grew up in rural Fauquier County, and it's not rural anymore. And so I noted in the prayer that we wanted to do what was best for the citizens of Amherst County. And I don't like conflict, and I don't like public speaking, and I'm glad this is almost over for my role in this. But it won't be completely over, I don't think, because Mr. Perlman, when he found out I wanted to oppose this, he threatened me. He told me, I want you to remember one thing, buddy, it starts tonight. He also, 2 years before, trespassed on my property in front of numerous well-marked no trespassing signs and dumped brush on it. So I'm not quite sure. I grew up in a rural county and I have rural manners. I'm not sure what would possess the man to do that. But out of concern for Amherst County, I do wish to live here. That's my dream. And I love it here and I love the people here. And I'm not in opposition to short-term rentals in general. I mean, what Mr. Carter did is a great example of what I think is a good use of the special exception. He cleaned that property up. It was an eyesore across the street from his house. He can see it. He asked all his neighbors first if they were okay with it. He has a strict no fire policy. He cleared out 35 tires. I read his statement, 35 tires, piles of trash. It was a fallow, dilapidated eyesore of the neighborhood, and he fixed it. And he lives here. He's a primary resident here. When he rents that home, it brings money into the community that he spends here. And so one of my chief concerns of Amherst County is that folks who are not primary residents here, who do not vote here, do not have the address on their driver's license, will slowly acquire and rent back the houses to the people whose family has been here for generations. And slowly the people here will just be renters on what was formerly the county that their ancestors settled. I know that might sound ridiculous, but Fauquier County, there's cornfields that are now all townhouses. So I don't like being the person who has to oppose things like this, but if I don't, no one else will.
Thank you, Mr. Kemp. And that's a good thing about America. Everybody can have their opinion. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak opposed? Seeing and hearing none, we will now close the public hearing. Board members, what's your pleasure? Any questions? Any questions? Mr. Adams, is this?
It is my district.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. District 3 is hopping tonight.
Glad it's not District 1 for once.
We'll share next meeting.
I do have one question. Now, to access Appleway, you also have to go up High Peak Orchard Road, which is also a private road as well. Is that correct?
That is a state-maintained road.
How far up? No, it's not.
Maybe it's not. Oh, I'm thinking of High Peak. My apologies. No, that is also a private road. Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, yeah, up to where you turn on the Appleway. Yeah, and I know that there's some people on that road that maintain that part of the road.
We help maintain it.
Yeah.
And I put money in with Bo Mays. And Bo Mays is facing the property when you make the turn on Alfred Road. He's the major.
Okay. That was my question.
And the pool doctor lives straight up the hill.
Mr. Adams, do you have further questions?
Yeah.
Chris's.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a beautiful place on the mountain. I mean, it would be a perfect place for a situation like this. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I could see it being highly sought after for the views and so forth. But I digress. I'll let Mr. Adams go ahead.
I don't have any other questions per se. Mr. Perlman's pretty much answered my questions. My biggest concern, and I guess one other question, and Mr. Creasy, and you may have addressed it. Mr. Perlman, when you were referring to some of the restrictions that your daughter and the management company put in place, are you guys going to manage the traffic count that goes to these short-term rentals? Sure.
Yeah, come forward, please.
A couple of things that we put in place for all of our properties is a very stringent vetting process. You cannot get onto Airbnb or Vrbo and automatically book without us talking to you. So we make sure that there's ample days in between stays, since we do need to get cleaners up there and just make sure everything's peaceful. And then we also make sure that their intentions in the county is not to throw a big rager. And you can ask 2 questions to somebody and you can tell their intent, because if they get defensive, it's a problem. And we simply say, you know, he's not trying to cover a certain amount of money a month, he's just trying to share the property. And so there's that. We turn off the automatic book, and we do have 2 days in between stays. So it's not just one guest after the next, after the next. We've managed around 750 stays in the last 2 years at our company called Family Properties 456. We've had that one party that he's talking about, and it was a beautiful group of Muslim women that were trying to get away from their husbands, and they just turned the music too loud, and that was a violation, and they got kicked out.
Further questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say to Mr. Kemp, I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your comments. And I can tell you that every board member up here wants to preserve the rural character of our county. And it makes me very happy to see people who invest in our county feel the same way. So even though y'all might be on different sides of this, I thank you both.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'm not going to delay this any longer. I just want to make sure, and as I sit here and ponder, make sure I'm asking all the questions because, again, I'm sensitive to other property owners' rights, but I don't want to overcomplicate this, and I feel comforted with Mr. Perlman and his daughter's presentation of this. And again, from a public safety aspect, that's the other thing. Obviously, that's what I'm passionate about, and I want to make sure we're covering our bases with that as well. Mr. Martin, do you have any other concerns as far as that goes?
No, thank you. My entire point is that making sure that any new structures we build have to meet the same road standards. Because structure's gonna burn, whether it's being used as a short-term rental or if it's used as a single-family home, right? That was my entire point. It sounds like the owners are maintaining the road, have improved the road that makes it better for our public safety folks. I have no issue with it.
All right, gentlemen, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, the only other thing is, were you and council just speaking about this?
You just want to take a look at it.
Any concerns from a legal aspect?
I just want to make sure that it was clear what conditions would be included in any motion.
Okay, and everything looks kosher? Okay. Madam Chair, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve 2025-412 special exception.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Adams. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, next we're going to move on to the consent agenda. If there are not any questions, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Martin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Consent agenda is approved. And now to the highlight of our meeting. We've got a special presentation, and we are going to ask Program Manager for Virginia Law Enforcement, Mr. Todd Klingsbill. Thank you, thank you. I was trying to do it out phonetically.
You did great. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Welcome, thank you.
Thank you for letting me be here tonight. My name is Todd Klingenpeel. I'm the Program Manager for the Virginia Law Enforcement Professional Standards Commission. And we're here tonight for a special presentation. Back in August, I sent 3 highly trained assessors to your sheriff's office to take a look at every aspect of what they do on a daily basis. They looked at the administration, they looked at personnel, they looked at training, and they looked at operations. And when I say they looked at it, they did a thorough looking of the files, interviewed people within the agency and outside of the agency, and inspected all items approaching that area. An accreditation here in the Commonwealth of Virginia means you have to meet 192 standards. That's over 570 bullets. And if you think about that, that's quite a bit. Here in the Commonwealth, there's only 112 agencies that have achieved accreditation out of over 400 that are eligible. Those assessors, when they went to your sheriff's office, they noted several things that were very special. One, they said they were friendly. You think of a sheriff's office, that's not one of the first things that comes up, but they said they were friendly, as well as knowledgeable and professional. They did a ride-along with Deputy Mann and her canine. There were several things that they said about her and her service. They said she was highly knowledgeable of what she did. She was professional, but she was also courteous in her interactions with everybody that she dealt with in the community. Those assessors said some very special things about your sheriff's office. They said that they were dedicated to maintaining the best professional standards that you see in law enforcement across the country. They were impressed with the positive attitude and demeanor that all personnel had. And they said they were committed to having and delivering the highest quality of service. Now, I want you to think about that. A sheriff here in the Commonwealth is a constitutional officer. For a sheriff to allow 3 strangers to walk into their building and to look at every aspect of it and ask questions and look at every file, property, pieces of evidence, weapons, that means a lot about transparency. And that transparency was very evident here. They welcomed the assessment, they welcomed the team, and they were very open to everything that went forth. They found that your sheriff's office was operating at one of the highest qualities that they could possibly do. They achieved accreditation, and that says a lot. You know, when we have people come before us for initial accreditation, which your sheriff's office did back in 2021, they say it's hard to get accredited. But one of the big things that our co-chairman always says, it's even harder to keep it. And your sheriff's office has done just that. Tonight, I want to go ahead and commend Sheriff Ayers and his staff for what they have done. And we are fortunate tonight to have here Sheriff Antonio Hash. He's one of our commissioners. And he wants to say a few words and also present an item to the sheriff. Thank you for letting me be here.
Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, County Administrators, to Board of Supervisors. Thank you all for allowing us to be here. It's a complete honor to stand before you on tonight. My office is busy. As you all know, Roanoke City is busy. But I got up out of my office tonight, drove an hour and a half, so we could present this certificate to Amherst County Sheriff's Office. The work that we do as the Sheriff's offices around the Commonwealth is not easy work. It's committed work. And when I seen them go through the processes of getting this second award for this accreditation, it meant a lot. Because our sheriffs around the Commonwealth, we vow to make sure that we hold all of our offices to that level that we can, again, make sure that we're giving the citizens of our counties or our city the utmost respect and quality service. And so tonight, Sheriff, if you want to come up, it gives me the great honor. And I don't take it lightly, because this means a lot to me, because it's not easy work. But this is a certificate of accreditation. This document certifies that the Amherst County Sheriff's Office came before the Virginia Law Enforcement Professional Standards Commission on October the 9th and has met the requirements set forth by the said commission, and therefore is certified as an accredited agency for a period of 4 years for this second award. Can we give them a round of applause for great work?
Ms. Fisher, Mr. Klingenpeel, Sheriff Hash, thank you for this honorable presentation. I'm just a small part of this, very small. Never in a lifetime did I expect to be back in this position, never. When I left in December of 2015, I'd had a great 30-year career and never anticipated to be back. However, God's plan was different, and I'm back. But the honor that I have each and every day to come to work and to work with the men and women that go about their way each and every day to protect and provide a safe community. I cannot appreciate it enough and be honored to be able to work with these folks. They don't work for me, they work with me. This accreditation standard was not easy. And when I say that is we had 2 years of a previous administration that we had to work through, the 2 years of our administration, and during that time, the lady that was there, she took another job and left. And John Cota, the young man sitting on the end over there, was a field lieutenant. However, I had seen John and his abilities in how he supervised his men and his women and how he worked with our community. And when I knew that the lady was leaving, John was the first young man that came to mind. Did we have hitches in the road getting this accreditation and keeping it? Absolutely we did. But he never backed up. He never wavered. He came in, he went through the policies, procedures, worked with Mr. Klingenpeel, worked with the staff of DCGS to make sure that we completed this hurdle or got over this hurdle or around it, whatever you want to say. And John did that working with the men and women that go out and do a job each and every day that a lot of people want no parts of. And I say tonight, these men and women, they see and they touch what a lot of human beings should never have to do in a lifetime. When everyone's running away, they're going in. And that's to be commended, especially in the environment that we live in this country today. It's tough. But they never wavered. John never wavered. Captain Davis, Major Begley has been there to support these ladies and assessors, and believe me, we were working with some stiff women in assessors. They wanted things right, and I agree with it. In the business we do, it needs to be right. And their expectations were high, but I commend our men and women that work with us each and every day and the administration that made sure we got where we needed to be to get the accreditation that we have, because our community, not us, but our community deserves that. So on behalf of our community, I accept this award of accreditation with honor. And I thank each of the administrators that are here with me tonight. Again, Sheriff Hash, members of the DCGS that are here to come and to present this. And board, I want to thank you all, because you all are a big part of this. Providing the funding, when I come before you all and need something, you've never backed up, never. So you all are part of this as well, and thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, ma'am.
I am so very, very proud of this department and what you all do for our county. And thank you. So now we got to get a picture because we've got the media here. Gentlemen, you want to come up? Sheriff, your head is big, it's blocking me.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. I just see him try. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Mr. Clingenpeel.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion I don't have to stand beside him anymore in the photo, because it makes me look like I'm
Motion
10 foot
approved.
tall.
Down here.
All right.
All right, next we're going to move on to new business. Mr. Bryant, would you please introduce our new finance director?
Yes, ma'am. On the brink of great news. I have more great news. Ms. Morgan, if you'll stand up, please, at least. The hiring committee for the finance director position unanimously made an offer to Tracy Morgan to be our Amherst County's next finance director. Tracy brings with her nearly 20 years of public sector experience, including 6 years here in our own finance department, where she served as the assistant finance director from 2007 to 2013. Most recently, she has held dual roles with the town of Amherst as both the treasurer and the deputy town manager. Tracy earned her bachelor's degree in business administration with a concentration in accounting, as well as a Virginia Contracting Association certificate. She's certified through the Virginia Government Finance Officers Association, which is commonly known as the VGFOA, and she holds a graduate certificate in local government management from Virginia Tech. She also plans to pursue her certified public finance officer credential. We have some quotes in your write-up about what colleagues said about her and praised her in numerous ways. We're very happy to have Tracy. She joined our team officially yesterday on November the 17th. So just want to welcome Tracy as our new finance director.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant, and welcome. We look forward to working with you. Board members, anything else y'all want to say?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, Mr. Martin, go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
I was fortunate enough to be a part of the selection committee for the new finance director, and we had I think probably the best way to put this, we were very blessed to have a great pool of candidates that day. I was very impressed with the day that we had and the candidates we had before us. However, obviously, it was apparent that we saved the best for last because Tracy, she was the last one for the day. I was impressed with her. I've known of Tracy through some other through other networking, but she definitely impressed me with her interview, and I think we have got an awesome choice, and I'm excited for the future.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. And Tracy, you will come to find out you will be hearing his voice in your head when you're sleeping. So.
And I'm sorry.
But we're so glad you're here. Thank you. And we look forward to all the new ideas and everything that you're going to bring to us. And we love to learn. So never, ever be afraid to ask questions. And you've got to get a good mentor here, Mr. Bryant. Thank you. All right. Next, we're going to move on to a follow-up from the Amherst County Commonwealth's Attorney. The Commonwealth's Attorney is not here this evening. I had sent him an invitation to join us a couple of weeks ago, and he did call Mr. Bryant on November the 12th to tell Mr. Bryant that he would not be here, but that he would respond to me in writing. I didn't receive anything in writing, which is why it was on the agenda. However, he did call me around lunchtime. Didn't call me, take it back. He emailed me at lunchtime today. You know, I'm a big girl. I'm used to pretty scathing emails, so it doesn't bother me. But he did do that. But I just want to give some background here in case people, because they've called me up and asked me what this is about. So back in the spring, we had a board meeting where we had the sheriff here, some of his staff. We had the Commonwealth's Attorney here, and it involved a Brady letters on certain individuals in the sheriff's office. And so I knew quite a bit about it, but the other board members also wanted to be educated. And it was a really good educational session. And everybody was very transparent in the sheriff's office, and we asked a lot of questions. There was a lot of back and forth, and apparently through one of the questions, Mr. Martin, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Would you like to speak to that, since it was your name that was invoked on this latest Brady letter?
Go ahead, I'll save my comments.
Okay. Mr. Martin had asked the officer a question, and the officer was answering it, and it's just a lot to keep up with. And Mr. Martin interrupted me, asked him another question. The officer was cut off and did not complete his train of thought, and we went on then to something else. That information was then used in a letter, a Brady letter, which is very, very serious. It's a career killer in many cases for officers. When questioned, he has since said that he's 100% sure that what he said was accurate, and that this officer did indeed lie to this Board of Supervisors. We're a very transparent group here. So we just said, okay, if that's true, we want to know it. I know the sheriff would want to know it. And that's why we had asked him to come forward here today, so we could kind of get to the bottom of this and figure out and clear up if there was a misunderstanding. We felt if we could clear up a misunderstanding, then the Brady letter could be rescinded. That obviously did not happen. Sheriff, is there anything that you would like to come forward and say while you're here with us? The other thing is, what was so unfair, what really got me, is the sheriff's office, as you just heard from the award we got, they're here to protect all of you all, every single one of you. And they run in when others are running out. Everybody in that department works for that man right there. That man right there did not know that his officer received a Brady letter. If that officer had been out on duty and had run into a situation where there was harm or criminal activity going on, and he jumped in to do his job, and it went to court, because in that Brady letter, it said the court will not take his testimony, period. Justice may not have been served. There's a huge possibility justice could not have been served for that family. Now I'm going to shut up, Sheriff Ayers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, to the folks in this room, folks that may be viewing online, I did not expect to be called for this tonight, but however, I feel compelled to speak on it. In 40 years, I think it was the 22nd of October, 40 years I've been in public service in this county, from the sheriff's office to the Board of Supervisors. I sat in Mr. Adams' seat for about 7.5 years. I have never in my life ever heard of nor encountered the activity that I have seen come from our Commonwealth Attorney's office. I have always been the kind of man, whether it was Commonwealth Attorney, believe me, we have worked with many, from Ed Meeks to Stark Mundy to Greg Smith to Judge Maddox to, I may have missed some, I don't know. But if there ever was a question regarding an officer's integrity or any problems with an officer, those Commonwealth attorneys would come and sit down, discuss the issues, problems. And if they were truly an integrity issue or an officer had lied or done something in court, that there's no room for lying or the lack of integrity as a police officer. That's all we have. When we appear full court and we raise the right hand, whatever testimony we give is the best to our ability. And the judge needs to be confident. Everyone in that courtroom needs to be confident. And the victim deserves due process, and for that officer or officers to provide truthful testimony. And there have been times that it has been brought to my attention that an officer lacked integrity or was not truthful about something he or she may have done. I had no problem with excusing that officer or officers from their position. No problem whatsoever. We don't have room for it. However, since being reelected in about 2 years ago, coming back into office and start dealing with what we have dealt with as a sheriff's office is appalling. Not only to me and to the officers involved in this, but it should be to our community. Our community deserves better than this. What Madam Chair is speaking of is one of the most recent Brady letters that was intended not to be discovered by our office, but how it was discovered recently was during a murder trial when a defense attorney made the officer aware, "Are you aware of the second Brady letter?" And he said, "What are you talking about?" And the defense attorney told him what it was, and he asked the defense attorney to provide him a copy of that letter. And several days later, I recollect the defense attorney did provide that letter, and it's to my chief deputy. I'm just going to make it straightforward as I can be. And there have been others in the office, but the one I'm speaking of tonight is to Major Begley, my chief deputy, or your chief deputy as a community. He was unaware of this, I was unaware of this, until the defense attorney made us aware of it. I read it again. My name was mentioned in it several times, reference to some traffic stops and miscellaneous, a whole list of stuff that they listed in several Brady letters. They were like 2 days apart they were written, accusing him of being in traffic stops and wherever. I'm just shooting from my memory of reading them. And stated that he was the officer in charge and that things he alleged toward racial bias in traffic stops and whatnot was alleged, and I was present during all of these. And at no time did I see he or any of the officers there in this particular day act out of way or do anything inappropriate dealing with the folks that they were dealing with. There were multiple charges brought that day. This particular case involved a very young child, very young. They was in a vehicle of intoxicated individuals, no car seat, even no child seat there. Our concern was obviously that child was number one, very young child. Neither here nor there, it was alleged in this Brady letter that he acted inappropriately and he was a superior officer or officer in charge. I don't know what the wording is. Folks, I'm here to tell you I was there as well. If he deserves a Brady letter, I'm standing here before you today to say I deserve one too. But to my knowledge, I don't have one. There may be one there somewhere. I don't care if it is. I stand before each of you tonight, and I'll stand between the 30,000 plus people in this community and say I've never lied, nor do I have to lie with my job. I know what my integrity is. However, the individual that's writing these letters, their integrity is the one that needs to be questioned. But unfortunately, there is no law or no road of due process for officers when they are accused of this. And unfortunately, people use their authority to do things that are totally inappropriate. And when I speak of Major Begley, just one, that's the one here tonight. This young man, I think, and I'm shooting strictly from memory, I have not asked him, nor have we talked about it. I think he served in the Marine Corps for either 6 or 7 years. Left the Marine Corps honorably discharged and assumed a position with Blackwater Security. You all know what that is. That is a company that provides dignitary protection. He was in the Middle East in areas of conflict. Takes pretty specialized individuals to do what he did. And he did it without question to provide for himself and his family. And he spent 20 years or so with our community to provide service to the people of this community. But I want to back up to a week or so after I came into office. And I got a phone call from a special agent with the state police, and I don't even recall what his name was. But it was after I had named him as their chief deputy, and he called me, and he said, Sheriff Ayers, I want to tell you one thing. He said, you've selected a good man as your chief deputy, and I'm going to tell you why. He said, I was upon part of the team that did the investigation of the murder of the police officer at Wintergreen. And if it hadn't been for your chief deputy, there would have been 2 police officers killed that night. Said he exited his vehicle in a matter of, and one of the police officers was struggling with that same individual over another gun. And he said within a matter of minutes, that individual was subdued and that officer's life was saved. But folks, I stand before you tonight to think that our Commonwealth attorney and his assistant continue to hammer him and hammer our agency, and in turn, it creates a rippling effect on our community and how our officers do their job is unfair. It's unjust. And then to bring you all into this most recent situation, when he stood before you all, I was present that night. I didn't see anything that he was untruthful for. But folks, I'm telling you one thing, I'm tired. I'm tired of dealing with it. And all I ask is I hope that our General Assembly can do something that will protect other officers in other jurisdictions from this same type of repetitive harassment. We have to ask ourselves, how many other jurisdictions around the Commonwealth go through this? How many others? It's very, very few. It happens. But it's not often that it does happen. But it seems to be a repetitive problem here in Amherst County for some reason. And I have no reservations of standing here publicly tonight and saying what I've said. I defend my men and women each and every day as they defend you all. You all saw here tonight when we got reaccredited, yes, that was a tough thing to do. Tough, especially because we had to overcome and deal with 2 years of a former administration and then come into ours. And I'm far from perfect and we're far from perfect. But they did their best to be the best. And we continue to deal with someone that continues to tear our men and women down for absolutely no reason. I appreciate you all's support because I know, Ms. Tucker, based on the email you received today, was pretty scathing. It was pretty brazen. But I hope you will make the community aware of the response you received from him when you asked for him to be here and explain his actions. And yet, the room is void as far as his presence. He's not here. It's hard to discuss when you're not right with what you do. And I'll back up to Mr. Lewis Goldman, or Deputy Goldman. We remember what the former sheriff and this same Commonwealth attorney did to him. If you will do that to a man and his family, you will do most anything. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir, Mr. Martin.
So, how ironic it is that on the very night our sheriff's office receives the accreditation award, we're sitting here having to talk about this again. This particular Brady letter, how surprised I was to find that this board was mentioned, but my name was mentioned specifically. And I will go on record tonight that I have never had any inclination that Major Begley has ever been untruthful to this board. Absolutely not to me. So I would like to propose two things, okay? I would like to propose that we put forth a legislative agenda, just like we did last year, requesting that our deputies have some form of due process when these Brady letters are put forth on them, all right? And they have no recourse, okay? It could very well be career ending. Sheriff Ayers, thank you for believing in good men and women and employing them. And secondly, since this Brady letter that mentions this board and me in particular says that Major Begley was untruthful to us, I would like for our county attorney, I know he's not here tonight, but that would be you or whomever you so designate, to send a request to our Commonwealth attorney and ask him to give us the facts of where Major Begley was untruthful. Because I haven't seen any. I would think if you're going to go after a man or woman's character and say these things, you should be able to submit proof. So I'm putting that on the table. Very disappointed with it. I mean, look, I do a lot of things. I'm really not a complicated guy. How surprised I was that my name was in a document like this. I mean, good grief. I mean, I'm not all that, I can tell you. But, so board, I would hope you would support me in those requests. I'm not sure what we can do otherwise, but I do think we have to, I will stand up for our employees if I think they've been treated wrongly. And I think that our deputies are being treated wrongly, and I think we need to, whatever we can do to stand up for them, we need to do it. And so that's my proposal. I hope you will support me in it.
Mr. Bryant, do we need a motion to that effect or just guidance to you?
I think a motion would clear things up.
Okay.
So that's my motion. One, we put forth the legislative agenda to our representatives in Richmond that we would like something that allowing our deputies due process when these Brady letters or, what is it, Giglio, whatever, are put forth. And two, that we request our county attorney to send a letter to Mr. Carver asking him to submit the proof, since he mentions us in the letter, that Major Begley was untruthful to us. I'll put that forth as a motion.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. We'll take further discussion later. Motion on the floor by Mr. Martin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you. Board members, is there any other discussion?
Yes, I was going to ask whether we want to have any discussion for, which I have zero issues with the motion, and I support Mr. Martin's motion 110%. You know, he opened up his comments talking about irony. I think the irony is also happening in this room tonight with a lot of my constituents in District 3 with some issues we've had ongoing in that district with a special exception. I think to us, as an elected body, just as our sheriff, our Commonwealth attorney, as well as other individuals in this county, we're held accountable by the people, right? These people, these fine people came here tonight to hold us accountable, and I never, ever take that for granted, and I don't think anybody up here does. I think with the request to have him come when this board was used in the presence of a Brady letter, and he couldn't find it within himself to show up tonight, but also to send you the response that you received today, I'm going to be bold, and if he's watching, that's fine. It's no disrespect. I think it's a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face of this community. It's a slap in the face of this board. It's a shame that there's no other accountability measures for actions such as this other than Election Day. And I guess the only other statement I will make is that if we can't accomplish anything else, that will be the ultimate judgment day. I am sorry that the sheriff's office is going through this, and I do agree with Sheriff Ayers. This impacts, if anybody wants to do their homework, if they don't understand the impact that this could have on your community, it could impact anybody that sits in this room if you was to have an emergency at any point in time. I want you to understand the impact of this. And we have no defense mechanism whatsoever. It's ridiculous. So, I'll get off my soapbox. I am irate to the point to where I'm trying to contain myself to deal with this, but we will continue the fight. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Are there any other comments?
Yeah, I'll make my comments brief. You know, I guess what I always look for is, what is the truth? You know, and to find out the truth, you have to have the facts of what happened or what was said. And without the facts, you can't get to the truth. So I think if this board could find the facts out, it would certainly help us. Like Mr. Martin said, we don't have much recourse. But one thing we can do is push for our legislative agenda, like Mr. Martin said, and hope that justice is served and recourse is allowed for our sheriff's deputies. Because notwithstanding any of this, but if one man can ruin your career, I mean, that you ought to at least have a recourse to be able to fight back against that. And that's, you know, my point, and I hope that something like that will come through the General Assembly.
Thank you, Mr. Pugh. Mr. Wade, did you want to say anything?
No, we took this on, a year ago or so? So then I was in favor of legislative action. I'm still in favor of that. So I think that's the right decision moving forward. So
Thank you.
Our hands are pretty much tied aside from that, so.
All right. Several of the board members, and of course the sheriff, as you all just heard, had asked if I would read the email that I received today. And I thought long and hard about it, but I think it's the right thing to do. It's been asked for, and I'm going to oblige. Received about 12 o'clock today. Claudia, the U.S. Constitution and the Bradio-Giglio line of cases define any ethical requirements and disclosure obligations as Commonwealth's attorney. These obligations apply only to criminal defendants. The Board of Supervisors has no authority, no legal role, or entitlement to information related to these matters. Despite this, the board has repeatedly attempted to insert itself into prosecutorial and personnel issues, both in open session and closed session, sometimes without notifying me. These actions were inappropriate then, and they remain inappropriate now. Letters written to comply with my ethical obligations are not written for public dissemination and discourse. They are written because they are ethically and constitutionally required, and the disclosure is only to criminal defendants and their counsel. Let me be clear. If the board wants to discuss this from the standpoint of a personnel matter in open session, then it is improper and unprofessional. If the board wants to discuss anything further about my ethical duties, that is also inappropriate. The board has no authority over my ethics regarding the Constitution or my rules of professional conduct as a prosecutor. I will not participate in any forum, meeting, or agenda item that attempts to do so. No employee's reputation should be used as fodder for a public spectacle simply because the board wishes to overreach beyond its authority and/or jurisdiction. I have and will continue to fully comply with my constitutional and ethical obligations. My office is not subject to pressure, intimidation, or attempted micromanagement from the board. I will continue to carry out the duties assigned to me by law, not the duties you attempt to manufacture. For these reasons, I am declining your, quote, invitation, unquote, to the upcoming board meeting. Again, to be clear, informing me that I am, quote, already on the agenda, unquote, is not an invitation as stated in your email, but an overreach. Lau. There. Are we done with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Schrader House discussion. Mr. Bryant, would you like to lead this, please?
Yes, ma'am. A few weeks ago, I was asked to look at some trees that were on that property that could potentially fall because they were dying and hanging over the road and where people park. Went up there with some of my staff who are here tonight, Mr. Lombardo and Mr. Wilkerson. We took a look at the property and we looked at the trees. And while we were up there, we noticed multiple broken windows. We immediately called the sheriff's office. They responded immediately. We found many broken windows. We also found where the property was broken into. It also appeared that someone was living in the house. It was our responsibility to make sure it was safe. Mr. Wilkerson, our maintenance supervisor, informed him. He came up and immediately he and his staff and Mr. Lombardo's staff chipped in. They worked to board up the house and secure the house. I made it aware to you, Ms. Tucker, as a result of us being up there because of the trees. And you asked us to put it on as a point of discussion. So it's on the agenda. The house is at the moment secured with plywood, but we've had some trouble with people breaking into the building, and we're keeping it secure, but again, it was asked to put it on the agenda. So with that being said, Mr. Lombardo's here, our Public Works Director. In terms of if you do make the decision that you would like to remove it, I did want to point out that our staff can take care of it and can put it down on the ground and can also take it to the landfill. I'm not advocating one way or the other. Mr. Nixon's also here. Our Parks and Rec master plan did have two options that were in the master plan that included the house in the master plan and also talked about taking the house down. So just wanted to give you all the facts, give you the opportunity to discuss and debate it. So that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Mr. Bryant. That's a very good overview. Mr. Martin, I know that you had also requested this, and you've got some thoughts that you wanted to say.
Well, I think I've made my opinion clear that I would not support demolishing the structure because it's demolishing our history. And if we continue to do that, then there'll be nothing left. I know the way that this is going to go. I'm old enough to know that I don't always get what I want. So when you decide to demolish the structure, I would hope that it is put back in grass, it's seeded, mulched, and not turned into a parking lot for whomever. We move forward in due time to turn it into the pocket park as recommended by the Parks and Rec Master Plan. So that's my comments.
And I know I've talked to a lot of people today that have called me about this, on both sides. Some that would like to keep it, some that would like to see it turned, as what he said, into a little pocket park and green space. And I love old houses. I live in one that's 220 years old. I'm very fond of them. I'm very fond of our history. But I have to weigh it with, these are citizen dollars. It's your tax money. And we got a lot of needs coming up, more than we can say grace over. So as much as I would like to see this done, I'm not convinced that it's a good use of taxpayer money, but that's my 2 cents. Board members, any further questions, or any further comments, rather?
Madam Chair, Mr. Martin and I wouldn't say we've had any heated debates over this. We just have a differentiation of opinion. On my first tour on the board, at that point in time, this is where it's difficult, and I have to eat crow sometimes and admit when I'm wrong. So the structure, that if it was daylight and we looked directly across at the church, we were battling with that in the late 2000s and what we were going to do with that structure. And unfortunately now I was one that was in favor of actually destroying the church and making parking lot out of that area over there. And I would have been wrong in doing that. We've seen that obviously a lot of times it doesn't always go this way. However, the church has been a success story for the town of Amherst and for the community of Amherst as well. And I'm proud of that. I think the people, as far as Second Stage, has done a great job with the church, and I commend them and applaud them for everything they've done. The Schrader House, as Mr. Martin said, it's a staple of history in this county. The unfortunate part is the condition it's in now. I don't know how much turning around it could be. It's pretty bad. And again, Ms. Tucker, I think that's where I go back to your comments as far as we know what we're up against financially, and I think we would be looking down a big bill to be able to repair this. So it's tough. I know it's sentimental and it's an emotional response to it, but I think we need to move forward with the direction is what we see in the Parks and Rec's master plan with that piece of property.
Any further comments? Mr. Pugh?
Yeah, I'll just echo what you two said. I had the privilege of going over there with you all and looking at the condition of the house, and, I think the amount of money and time it would take to fix that building would probably not be our best use of funds. I understand what Mr. Martin's saying. He certainly likes to, I guess, his urban planning in him over the years and the historic districts that he's probably looked over in Lynchburg, but I would be in favor of going ahead and demolishing this dwelling.
Mr. Wade?
I've got nothing to add. I agree with the plan to move forward and demolish. So with that, I'll make a motion that we direct staff to demolish the dwelling at 102 Mountain View Drive in the town of Amherst.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Wade. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no.
No.
All right. Thank you.
Still love you.
I love you.
Thank you. All right.
What about me, Tom?
See, if DC could only see what we're doing here. Folks in Washington could learn a little bit. County Administrator's Report, you're on, newcomer.
Attorney. The attorney.
I've received a promotion.
Yes, you have.
What did I call you? County Attorney's Report. County Administrator's report.
Yeah.
I'll get this right, kinda.
Yeah, so all we put before you tonight are some upcoming vacancies on boards, commission, committees. We will bring that back to you with folks that have applied. This is only for your information. There's no action that's needed. We're just giving you information. And I have nothing to report on that any further. We'll bring it back to you at the next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Now, County Attorney report.
I don't really have a report. I appreciate being here. If you don't know, Mark had a death in the family. So despite the sad circumstances, obviously for him, it's always nice to see everyone and nice to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for making the drive. We
Thank you for being
appreciate you. Liaison and committee reports. Mr. Adams, Emergency Services Council.
Madam Chair, I was unable to attend the Emergency Services Council meeting last Wednesday night, but Chief Beam is here. Is it anything, Chief Beam, you wanted to discuss or occurred? Okay.
All right, thank you. Parks and Rec, Mr. Martin.
Yep, so our awesome Parks and Recreation Department hosted the Halloween Spooktacular, and over 450 participants came through that at Coolwell Recreation. They finished up fall soccer. They had a senior social for 275 participants, which is outstanding. They've got several upcoming winter programs, including home buyers education seminars, youth basketball. They've got trips to Hamricks, which I don't know what that is. Buc-ee's, I do know what Buc-ee's is, and Rosie's, I think we all know what it is. And Bedford for Christmas light displays. How about some Christmas light displays in Amherst? Yep. So, and more importantly, they're also continuing their work on planning for Kilgore Community Park, and plan to meet in December to continue discussing amenities for that site plan. So Parks and Recreation is alive and well in Amherst County, and we appreciate all the work that they do.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. All right, and I'm up for the Ag Committee, but I'm going to hold my comments. Actually, I'm not even going to give them because you all had the pleasure of hearing from Tyler Price as he comes up and gives the annual report for the Ag Committee.
I hope it's a pleasure to hear from me. Evening Board, County. This will be my third year as the chair of the Ag Committee, so it's been fun. Not going anywhere, I don't think, so we'll keep on. Agriculture, much like Parks and Rec, is alive and well within Amherst County. Some of the highlights that we've had throughout the year, we've brought on a new member who has been married since she's on the board, but Haley Tomlin. She's been involved with a lot of the 4-H and a lot of the livestock showing throughout the county, so she brings in a whole new wealth of knowledge. We've had our FSA office in to expand upon all the programs that are available to all of our producers, which has allowed us to make them more known to the producers in the county, within the area. Just all about advocacy there. We have met with the Amherst Nelson Livestock Association. They've presented with us, I think it was back in the spring, about a lot of their upcoming events, a lot of their plans throughout the county to get beef producers just a lot more recognition in the area. For the big update, the Amherst County Fair, another rocking success this year. I think last year we set a record, and this year we set a record again. Right now, where we stand, we are going to be returning in excess of $33,000 to the county. Last year, it was $18,869. We still have a few more bills to come in, but we're looking really good. So as this stands, it's an improvement of over $14,000 from last year. If you will note, the gift or the donation from the county to support the fair was $30,000. So where it stands right now, it looks like the fair made money. So, which is really good news. A total of 7,130 plus or minus attendees. So it was very well received by everybody that we've heard from. We brought in lots of new events, lots of vendors. I'm sure everybody ate well and had plenty to talk about as they were there. But again, a lot of that, the thanks just goes to Eric Where'd he go? Right in the front. He moved in the front right now. As we all know, I mean, he's the one that puts in so much work for the fair. He's there the week before, the week after, basically living full-time on the fairgrounds with a little bit of sleep every now and then. So yeah, it's not us. It's for sure Eric doing all the groundwork to be able to make everything possible. So, but that's my update. So
Any
thank you all.
questions of Mr. Price?
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
It's just a wonderful event for Amherst County. And I also want to give a shout out to Ms. Leslie Sprouse. She is our grant writer and would send out invoices and call people and ask them to donate and sponsor. So thank you, Mr. Bryan, for allowing her to do that.
Yeah, in fact, if I could, I just want to, again, thank Eric. Eric just does a great job and does a lot of work. Tyler, thank you for all that you've done. Leslie did take our contributions for sponsorship. She doubled it, more than doubled it. We had about $42,000 of sponsors and for the fair this year, and so she has just done a phenomenal job, and she has some new ideas and ways to even improve that. So, looking forward to that.
Very good. Thank you. All right, we're now going to move back to citizen comment, the second half of our program. Is there anyone here? Let's see, we've got a couple people who said that they wanted to wait, and one of those people is Ms. Kim Wood. Ms. Wood, you're in what district?
You know, I've attended this meeting, and it's just been a roller coaster, just like you said. We go from a prestigious award for our sheriff's department to an email that you read that's really scary to me as a citizen of this county. And I guess getting up here and speaking, I feel like I may have put a bullseye on maybe my forehead for what I'm going to say. But I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned about the integrity of that office that we have just spoke about, the Commonwealth of Attorney. It's very disturbing that he did not come to this meeting as he was invited to speak to the Brady letter. And it's very disturbing to hear that he doesn't feel like he owes you all or the citizens of this county an explanation. Who does he serve then, is what I ask. He appeared before this board and referenced Daniel Rutherford, the Commonwealth Attorney of Nelson County, had done a legal review when Deputy Goldman had been issued a Brady letter. And he stated that that case had been reviewed by Mr. Rutherford, who in turn went on, if I'm not mistaken, WSET, and said that indeed he had not participated in a review of that case, which is a blatant lie to this board and the citizens. How can any Brady letter or allegation be trusted when his credibility, Mr. Carver's credibility and integrity, has been called into question by an elected Commonwealth attorney in our neighboring county of Nelson? I understand, obviously, that he doesn't feel the need to show up and speak to us, but I feel like the citizens of Amherst County, we deserve better, and we are being ill-served with dishonesty and vindication. I ask you, as the board who represent the citizens of Amherst County, to make what's happening in this office your priority and take action. And I appreciate the action that you've already started to take this evening, but I hope you won't let that be it.
Thank you, Ms. Wood. Next, we have Krista Eubank. And what district are you, Ms. Eubank?
And I'll be honest, I signed in tonight because I was scared that this would all happen. I wouldn't have signed up to speak, and I would have regretted it, so I signed up to speak. But Kim really speaks for how I feel also. And the only other thing I really want to add, because I agree with everything Kim said to you guys, but the one thing I want to say is I heard you, Mr. Adams, say just a few minutes ago about another topic that you had to eat crow, you made a mistake, you were wrong. And I appreciate that and I respect that, because at one of the Republican meetings we were at, I asked Mr. Carver about the Brady letter. That is all new to me. I'm not a political person, so this whole thing has been very new to me. And so I was very shocked that we have something that exists, that someone can make an accusation against you and you have no recourse to defend yourself. I'm shocked at that, and I don't really even know how that happened, but anyway. And I asked him about that if he really understood that maybe he'd written a Brady letter, but it was incorrect, what would be the recourse for that, retract for that. And he said he could not, that he didn't have I think he said a dog in this race, or I wrote down exactly what he said, but he said that he would not retract it. He said he didn't have a dog in the hunt. That's what he said. And now clearly we know that really isn't true, because now he's written a second Brady letter against this individual. So I, like Kim, feel like, it's time for answers. I appreciate what I saw from you guys tonight, because I feel like you are seeing what we've all been seeing for a while. And I appreciate that, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future, because it's time for change. We've had enough. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Eubank. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak? Seeing and hearing none, we're now going to close the citizen comment portion and move on to matters from members of the board. Mr. Wade?
I'm going to throw something out, and it's probably going to ruffle some feathers, but it is what it is. I'm going to ask that this board consider revoking special exception 2024-154. That's for the Fisher property there, the wedding venue. This board sat here and we considered revoking a special exception for a man that had a trucking business that, that was just an eyesore. This is a public grievance. But it's in Mr. Adams' district, so I'm going to let him make the call there, but I would fully support revoking that special exception. I think it's time. I think we've heard enough. They've been given long enough. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. That's all I've got.
Mr. Adams?
Two things, so I'll go ahead and hit on Mr. Wade's comments, because I was going to go ahead and ask the questions of our legal counsel, and is Mr. Creasy still here? No, I think he's gone. And Mr. Bryant, as far as the feedback we continue to get is consistent in reference to the concerns associated with the special exception at Phyllis Lee. My question was from a process, because obviously legally I don't know what the right process is, but can it be as clear as this, sir, or Mr. Bryant, as far as if Mr. Wade makes a motion, or do we have to go through proper channels to be able to do that?
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, sure. There's a section of the zoning ordinance that talks about the process for revoking it. So we will need a motion. We'll probably need to also discuss the reasons why. So I think that's something that, Mr. Wade, you brought it up under matters of members of the board. We don't have a motion yet, but I think if we want to go there, we're going to need to talk about the reasons why, put it into a resolution, and bring it back to you for your consideration.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak for Mr. Wade, but.
It would have to be a public hearing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Correct.
After
Okay.
Yes, sir.
notice and all that.
Correct.
However, and again, I'm with Mr. Wade, this is probably going to ruffle some feathers. However, I think the message is clear and consistent. So if we need to make a motion or if we need to have that discussion to bring back before Mr. Bryant, then I'm prepared to do so.
The only thing that I would add to that is that I want to make sure this time we get it right.
Absolutely.
And so I want to have time to deliberate this, and make sure that we are looking at the issues that are actual real problems and factually correct.
I agree, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Yes. Secondly, Mr. Bryant, I had a citizen, actually not in my district, Saturday morning, gave me a call with some concerns of public safety from the exit of Biscuitville, 29 South. Chief Bean will be able to allude to this, I know, and I was close to being part of it one day last week when we had one accident there, but I think we had 2 to 3 accidents there within a several-day period of time. Correct, Chief Bean?
Yeah, I'm not sure
The gentleman that called me was actually an officer that I very much respect from a neighboring jurisdiction that actually witnessed it one of the days and had just some great, he's an Amherst County resident, but had some grave concerns. And so I would like for us to approach VDOT to see if there are any options on, is there anything we can do to improve, excuse me, I can't talk, the public safety side of things of that, as far as, maybe not allowing left-hand turns out of there, because it's pretty hectic there in the morning.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have.
Mr. County Attorney, how do we go about addressing Mr. Wade's motion?
It might be best for our office to meet with Mr. Bryant and Mr. Carisi to talk about next steps and setting up the process for that, if the board's okay with that.
Mr. Wade, Mr. Adams, is that satisfactory?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I just want to get it moving.
Just to follow up on that, I mean, we can make, do we need to make a motion to actually get that ball rolling?
I don't know if there's any need for that motion.
Okay, we just need, yeah, I'm in agreement. So, I mean, I believe whatever you all need to do, I would like to see that happen. Other than that, I have nothing.
Mr. Martin?
Yes. Let me finish my M&M, I'm sorry. Mr. Wade,
Sir,
thank you for bringing that up, because I was going to bring it up.
I'm here for you.
I know you are, and I think we have a process in place. It's the same process that we used for the trucking lot that you discussed. As we know, it'll have to go back through public hearings in front of the planning commission. It'll have to go back before this board. We can't communicate like this, but question and answer. But one thing I heard tonight is some of the neighbors were saying revoke it. Some of them were saying ensure proper, safe conditions. That all needs to be part of the discussion.
Right.
Okay? I would also like to have a presentation on the county's noise ordinance, because I just looked at it. If any of you thought I was ignoring you, I was not. I was reading our noise ordinance, which is, it stinks. I don't know how you would enforce it. So I think we should revise that, and Mr. Attorney, if you could help us with that, I'd greatly appreciate it. So yes, I do support bringing that back, and let everyone have their chance to speak on this again. It's been going on far too long. That being said, something else that has been going on far too long, we heard presentations, formed a committee for a history tablet or whatever we want to call it, and we said we'd get back to it after the budget. Budget was done, and we're getting ready to go into a doozy of a one. So I think we need to go ahead and put that one to rest, either do it or not.
Yeah,
So-
you'll be happy to know that we've got that, he and I have talked, it'll be on the next agenda. We just
Great.
had a full one this week.
Okay.
I mean,
Outstanding. That's it. Thank you so much.
the only thing I have is that, it's been a banner week for Amherst County. Region 5 in our school district received a A+ rating on how we educate our kids, our students with autism. And that makes me very happy. We're doing a lot of things right, and we're doing a lot of things right for people who really need it. So thank you for the school system. Thank you for the parents that help us make these programs better. That's all I've got. All right, now we're going to go into closed session. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll move that the board enter into closed session under Section 2.2, 3711A3 as a discussion regarding the acquisition and disposition of public property pursuant to Section 2.2, 3711A19 of the Code of Virginia.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Wade. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. We will now go into closed session.
Hey, I don't care. Whatever.
Lord have mercy.
A motion come out of closed session.
Madam Chair, I move that the Board of Supervisors certify by recorded vote that to the best of each board member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and identified in the motion authorizing the closed session were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed session.
Motion on the floor, all in favor say aye.
Aye. You gotta do-
Opposed,
We gotta
no.
do the roll call
Oh,
vote.
yeah, roll call. Mr. Bryant?
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Adams?
Aye.
Mr. Pugh?
Aye.
Mr. Martin?
Aye.
Ms. Tucker?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So move.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
When does Chris